Ulnar gutter is for usually fifth or fourth metacarpal fractures. Finger fractures, maybe proximal phalanx or MCP joint dislocations, but I think those are pretty rare. I mean, usually it's somebody hitting a wall and they've broken over on this side right here. And I think the key thing with these is to go to position of safety, is the way I learned it in residency, and that's just a way to make sure you don't get tight. In kids it probably doesn't matter as much, but it also happens to keep the splint on really well. So your little bit of wrist extension and your MCPs are flexed about 70, okay? So it's not this, it's position of safety. It's kind of a back and a forward. So.
This is where I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
Can you do those cover phalanx fractures? Phalanx fractures?
Yeah, I mean proximal phalanx, you could do that way. I tend to just buddy tape finger fractures most of the time. I don't know, what does Scott do? Our PA sees most of our finger fractures. So.
We just do a single side aluminum foil.
Yeah, aluminum foam.
Cut them, yeah, cut them and wrap them.
Yeah, just aluminum finger splint kind of thing. Something where you don't have to immobilize the MCP maybe. But I think buddy taping as a rule is good for most finger fractures. I don't know what level of finger fractures you guys are seeing in the office most of the time, but. So what are you thinking of specifically for injuries that you want to know about that?
Like the Montasia probably needs to be seen face up.
Yeah. Those do a lot better when they're reduced right away.
Yeah.
Anything besides a type 1 supracondylar?
Anything besides the type 1 supracondylar. Radial neck fractures that aren't nice looking, that look like they are borderline needing to be reduced.
Okay.
Our criteria for what's acceptable for those is tightened a little bit. We used to say kids under 8 it could be 50 degrees or more, and now we're more like 30. So 30 degrees is kind of a nice angulation. So.
I had to ask her because this is a trick that I learned. I just wanted to make sure, because we don't do this a lot in our office, but I mean, you could do that, but then you fight the ripples. So I like to cut it in a Y.
Oh yeah, I've seen you guys do this. I have a non-kid size hand, so.
It gets a little trickier because you can't really cut that too much, but you could mold it, cover it in moleskin, and then it's comfortable for them.
So keeping the raw edge of the fiberglass off the skin.
You can try pulling it to fully cover it. But you kind of run out of time because they're done.
Okay. So here I am, position of safety.
I'm covering those. I have it on the back side. Kind of running here. Someone would help me hold. But if I turn those this way, then I avoid that getting at them anyway. It's okay, I'm just 5'4".
As I'm watching it, Drew. And using a smaller A strap is also a lot more helpful for this. It's not to keep going with it. Like a 2-inch. I would use a 2-inch for this.
That way you're not digging into there. So if someone's holding for you, they can kind of keep these positioned for you. She's trying to help hold, but she's spreading.
Because I can't multitask.
So, and you have time, so you can kind of lie it down, kind of get it just on. So that's all tight. Then you can kind of come back, make sure they're not deviated either way. Kind of bend back at the wrist a little bit and kind of put your mold here. They're not going to like you to mold here. So you kind of put it back of the wrist and kind of just help forward and pull back. And just hold it there till it hardens. Those ones like to move a lot too if you don't hold it long enough.
This isn't wrong for phalanx fractures, initially. It's a little bit of overkill, I guess is the way I think about it.
Yeah, we have a fracture book that tells us what to do, and for proximal phalanx fractures, it says to do an ulnar gutter on those 4th and 5th.
Yeah, it wouldn't be wrong. It immobilizes the MCP joint, so with the proximal phalanx, it's probably a little more comfortable. So
We tend to switch them out to only like to end here.
Oh, just shorten them. Don't go past the wrist, is what you're saying.
So you can see here, with a smaller A strap, you'd see it a little bit better. So position of safety, I'll kind of rotate it around a little bit. It's just covering the ulnar side of my hand, so you've got all this business, which is much nicer than a cast.
How long does it take to cure?
When you put water on it, the stuff goes very fast. We're not using water. So.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, just airwise.
Yeah.
you're talking about holding it at 90 degrees,
Yeah.
and then you were holding it, and I was like, how long do I need to stand there?
About 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, you're molding it till it's dry, because as soon as you walk away, a kid's gonna do this, right? So.
Mhm.